Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
dude. Yeah, I like documenting things in general, bro. Especially now that I know more about AI and shit. It's like the more context that you can give AI about yourself and what you want to do and like who you are, the more it will be able to help you. So I'm a big fan of like just storing like all the meetings that we've had for the business for the past 5 months, probably. I've recorded all of them and I have all of them. So then when we have AI, it'll be trained on all of our business shit.
I thought something was different about you today. I'm not talking to the
What
real
would
Joe,
that
am
be?
I? I'm talking to the AI
I'm
version.
not. I think
The
I'm
AI
talking to the
version.
AI version of Dylan, bro.
No, no, I'm real for sure. I don't know about you, man. I think I'm talking to the AI right now. You've made one of those
Yeah,
super advanced AI, haven't you, Joe?
I have. Yeah, that's why I've been MIA the past couple
Ah,
months, man. I've been trying to get like the best replica of myself via AI. Is it
there we go.
working? Are you
You've fooled
convinced?
me until now.
Mm, that wasn't very long, dude. That was only I was only a good AI for like 5 minutes, bro.
Yeah. Well, I put you through the Turing test, and there we go. Boom.
You, you code, right?
Yeah, I code.
You're like that's what you do for your job, right?
Yeah, it's my job.
Okay, just curious. What type of coding do you do? What type of development?
Software development. Wait, so how much do you know about software? Because um, I do backend
My
stuff.
next, I was
I've
about to say
done
my next question was going to be like front end, back end, or full stack.
backend. Although I'm doing some front end now because I'm in like more of a full stack team, but historically more backend. I mean, I remember asking you about LangChain, like were you guys using LangChain? Was I used it a little bit for a little hackathon project we had in our company, which was kind of fun. We did some AI stuff with property data. Um, yeah. Is that the sort of stuff you guys have done with your AI? Tell me about it if you can. Or was it proprietary?
Oh no, dude, I can share everything that we're doing. But like I said, we're not doing any developing right
Everything.
now. We don't have any code. Yeah,
Oh, I
everything.
see.
I'm an open book,
Guys,
bro.
the blueprints are here.
Oh, actually, dude, let me show you what I've been up to. And what we've been giving to people. So I can actually show you my whole like long-term goal and plan and everything, dude,
That's
or talk
awesome.
to you about that. You probably find it interesting. So
It's great. I
have
can
you
see
ever
the
heard of
meditation has gone out the window now.
dude? Oh, so crazy thing. Actually, before I even show you this, man, I think I hit second path recently, bro.
Oh, sick. Cool.
Yeah. Have you ever seen
How do you
let's see
know?
here. I'm about to show you.
Can you diagnose me with my path?
Yeah, low key, bro. It would be easier. What is it? QRI and Roger Thisdale. Dude, do you know who Roger Thisdale is?
No clue, mate. No clue.
No way, dude. He's so great, man. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen again, but a different screen. Okay, cool. Okay, have you ever seen these pictures before?
Oh, yeah, yeah, I know them.
Yeah,
He made a
this
video,
is how
yeah,
I
on
realized.
YouTube. It was really good.
Who
Oh,
did?
was it a different guy? He made his own model. It was really interesting. Frank Yang posted it, like reposted it on his Instagram.
Yeah, that's Roger Thisdale, bro.
Ah, okay, cool, cool, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He's super cool. But this, yeah. So basically, like I thought I was like pre-stream intro. I made like so many conclusions after this recent like shift happened, bro, because Roger, who made the video about, he has a video about literally each one of these stages. I had this shift and then I started feeling this way right here. And then I went to his video and every moment of his video was just describing my direct experience. And I was like, ah, oh, yeah, this makes sense.
Ah, okay. See you, big mind.
Yeah,
Right.
I guess so. I mean, I don't like it's whatever, dude. It's not like about yeah, it's like if anything, it just helps me contextualize like what to contemplate next, which is like try to find no self or like yeah, everything feels like self, basically. Like uh there's still a center point and there's still a tension that comes seemingly out of the eyeballs, but like, yeah. There's nothing. There's nothing here that doesn't feel like me.
Ah, okay. I think that's
Yeah.
not the Buddhist four-path model. As Ingram describes, this is like his four-path model, right?
Well, in a way, like so Roger is like very familiar with the Buddhist path, and he equates each of these to the path model. So standard perception is pre-path, witness is first, big mind is second, and then Frank also says the same thing because they're describing the same perceptual shifts that take place.
Oh
Yeah.
wait, so it's not horizontal. He's like boom, 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 boom. That's how it's laid
Oh
out.
yeah,
It's is
yeah.
it
It's standard perception, then the witness, then big mind, then no self, then no self and no center.
for me, I used to have I went through the phase where I was identified with everything. I think that was
Mm-hmm.
more last year for me. I distinctly remember end of last year I had some of that.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I feel like I've lost that now. I feel like if I describe it, and if I'm not identified with thinking, because that takes you out of it, as soon as I'm not identified with thinking, and then I'm noticing whatever's happening, there's a strong sense now that whatever's happening is just arising, and there's no real feeling of me there. So if I'm speaking, it's just speaking. And the more I pay attention to the speaking, I'm like, holy shit, speaking's just happening. What's happening? And it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So it's like walking.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest practice I do. I would say I don't even meditate that much. I just go through my life and I'm like self-inquiring into the fundamental nature of, wow, speaking's happening. And I'm just speaking. And even recording a lot of videos. Like I've been recording a video every second or third day. And it's great because I've been losing subscribers. The more videos I post, the more I lose. I got two and then I lost two.
Yeah. That happened to me when I started posting more often too.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, it is funny. It is what it is, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting what you're saying though, because like, yeah, that what you're describing in terms of like talking is just happening and walking is just happening. And about your practice, like, dude, my quote unquote practice is like I'll work throughout the day, and then whenever I take a break, I'll take like 1 to 2 hours and just go on like a walk or just sit down on a bench and just like stare and yeah, inquire about what's going on and what this thing is about. But that's like multiple hours a day that I'll do that. And I'm like, oh, that is just as powerful as like quote unquote meditation, in my opinion, or it can be. And yeah, you don't necessarily need to meditate in order to like see these things clearly. It's just you need to see them clearly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so natural. Even the idea of like quieting your mind. Like I feel like I'm really good at energy now and that sort of self-inquiry type stuff. But my concentration is still pretty piss poor if I compare it to literally anybody that practices a concentration practice for a few months like consistently. Like I don't think I'm
Mm-hmm.
this. Maybe I'm all right. I actually don't know because I don't know what's normal, like as far as thinking goes, but it's definitely not like silent. In fact, the most annoying part is like I was practicing yesterday, some concentration, and it was hard to concentrate on my breath, not because of thoughts, but because the energy I was feeling was just overwhelming. I just feeling
Yeah.
like
Where
everywhere, like I'm like Goku powering up. I'm like, what's going on?
That's funny. You can make because I guess hypothetically anything can be the object of concentration. So you could make that energetic feeling something to then concentrate on as well. Was
The
it
thing is,
coursing through like your whole body?
I guess so. Like it's different at different times. I mean, I would say making the energy the object of my concentration has been my main practice. So, and I don't
Right.
really
Okay.
consider that concentration just because it's just cultivates more energy. So I'm not too sure. Was it? I think it was like yeah, it wasn't like a spinal energy moving up and down type thing. I think it was more like I felt energy everywhere, and it felt like blazed out. Like every particle of my body was like energy. I don't know how to describe it. Like a strong
Mm-hmm.
force. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting, bro. Yeah, what is like, yeah, dude, this whole shit is so funny to me now, man. Like it's like very clear that it's just like taking place and it is what it is and it happens as it happens. Like,
Yeah, I think people made it really complicated. I think if you can sum it up, actually, I really enjoy this guy Vishfront. He's very simple in his communication. He runs Satsang online, and I attend.
cool.
He's over in Perth. I do want to visit him at some stage. And he's got that. He's enlightened. So when you are on a call with him, I think he does what like Frank Yang has learned recently, where he can expand his beingness field, and everyone gets blazed out. He does that on the call, and you can feel the energy over the call when you are sitting there or when you are asking questions. You can feel a bit of that, which is really cool. And what I like about him is he's really simple in his communication, almost too simple, but he's the opposite of Daniel Ingram. Think of Daniel Ingram as the
Right.
intellectualizer
Yeah.
who loves like, oh, I'm gonna dive into nuance, into nuance. This guy is like, if you ask him any intellectual question, he's just like, knowledge is the booby prize, and he just like doesn't get into it, and
Mm-hmm.
he just makes fun of people that intellectualize basically. Um,
Mm.
which I guess is good for some people, not good. It's good for some people. I think he really misses a lot of nuance by keeping it so simple. But I think what I really learned is um, it's just all about accepting everything as it is, not how you want it to be. If you can just accept everything, uh, that's I think the most important practice.
Yeah. Acceptance, like the practice of just noticing, like just being aware of something, like presence. Like if you're aware of something that's right here, you're present with that thing. And then along with the like pure acceptance is faith as well. Like just like a lot of people don't accept what's going on because they don't feel like they're okay, or they feel like something is wrong about this moment. And it like causes anxiety. So this is what I've seen at least, and kind of how I felt. Like I always felt like, oh, I need to do something. I need to meditate. I need to work out. I need to do work or else I'm not going to make money. Like I need to do these things. And if I wasn't doing those things, I felt bad that I wasn't, versus like, oh, no, I like the intention is there for me to just like be a good person in this world and be independent and like do as I please. And that intention itself is alone is like, it's good. It's done. It's cool. Like, it's okay if I'm not doing anything. It's okay if I'm just sitting there. It's okay. Like in every single moment, everything is totally okay. And you can accept whatever is coming in at any given moment. And learning how to do that. Like you said, not changing anything. But why would you want to change anything? It's if you felt like you weren't good enough in this moment or something wasn't good enough in this moment. Usually that something is like you, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. To add to that, I think something that could be even more powerful, but I suppose this could even be more of a belief, is that every time something in my life happens that is in a way that I don't want it to be, I start to view it as opportunities, because I feel like the universe gives you everything you need to know, or every experience you need to wake up. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but it certainly seems like that. And what it seems to
Mm-hmm.
me like is you have an experience, it could be very negative. Um, and then if you see that as an opportunity, because some part of you is reacting to the external experience in a certain way that's causing you suffering. So if you can react to it
Mm-hmm.
in a different way, aka lose that attachment or burn through the karma energetically, you can make that leave you. I find that the pattern or the thing that happened externally doesn't show up anymore. It's like you have a tangible effect on reality, and reality is giving you external circumstances for a reason, to force you to wake up more or force you to grow more.
Mm. Oh, that's really interesting. The way that you're wording this. That's funny. Like the semantics behind all this is hilarious. But it's cool too because it's like whatever resonates with people is whatever resonates with people. So that's why I like talking about this shit with people because you may say something that triggers a thought with me, and the way that you say something may really resonate with somebody, and then the way that I say something, it could be the exact same shit, but it could really resonate with somebody else.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
this is fun.
That's the same thing
But
I
what?
realized. Oh, sorry, go.
Oh no, you got it, bro.
I've been going to I went to church recently.
Mm-hmm.
I went to I've been doing kind of spiritual stuff actually. It's interesting. I've been in Keratin recently a lot of. I'll talk about that later.
Cool.
And when I was at the church, they're talking about stuff. Um, and I'm like, dude, this is exactly what they say in Buddhism. How do they not
Yeah,
see it?
yeah, yeah.
And but they were using like really cool like analogies that Buddhists are too autistic to talk about. They were like being really
Yeah.
simple. The common man. They're talking about stuff in like a really like family orientated like dynamic. Even the idea of like tidings, like giving 10% of your income, your first harvest, giving the first part away. I'm like, oh, it's the same thing. It's like they're trying to lose that attachment to the money. They don't realize that it's the money that is not the issue, it's the attachment. But by doing that anyway, it's a simple practice. It cultivates the same type of thing in people, and people become more warm-hearted. And but what they were talking about when they were talking about some of the quotes, I'm like, dude, that it's the same thing. They're just not taking it far enough, you know. They're just not taking it far enough
Yeah.
the way the Buddhists are taking it.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like with Christianity, like the Bible is full of so much wisdom, but there's so much room to take things literally and so much room for skewed interpretation because of how like beautiful all the stories are and how much of a like storytelling process it is.
Yeah.
But in Buddhism, for example, like I guess the good part about Buddhism is how straightforward it is. Like there's no storytelling. It's literally like this is the mind, this is the nature of mind, this is suffering, this is how you end suffering. I guess yeah, it's really just Four Noble Truths is what Buddhism is, and it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, they definitely like condensed it. But I didn't realize how similar Hinduism is actually to Buddhism. Because I always saw it from the dogmatic lens, where you like see hundreds
Mm.
of gods and stuff, because that's sort of where I was brought up. And I think that's how a lot of Hindus interpret it, because it's like a traditional thing passed down. So you see the dogmatic side rather than the
Right.
teachings. But I think the core teachings are like very similar. It just focuses more on like energetic Kundalini practices, a more well-rounded approach like yoga and things like that, because it's for
Mm.
everybody and just becoming a healthier, more well-rounded human. So I suppose more morality practices, where I think Buddhism lacks morality practices in general, which is why people get very ungrounded, like myself. Um, and but the core teachings is like very similar. It's just they use different language for it, and they get more like advanced as far as like the things go that you don't need to know. This they call it the science. So like, oh, it's a science. Hinduism's a science,
Hmm.
but Buddhism is not a science. That's what someone told me the other day. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you heard of like the eight limbs of like Ashtanga and stuff like that? Or not the eight limbs of Ashtanga. What is it? The eight limbs of or I don't know, Patanjali. Does that ring a bell to you at
I
all?
heard about it, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's like Patanjali and the eight limbs of Ashtanga yoga or something like that. But there's eight different limbs. And so like prana is one of them, for example. Samadhi is another one of them. But samadhi in Hindu means something different than samadhi in like Pali, for example.
God damn it.
But it's like, yeah, it's very similar. Like the eight limbs of Ashtanga, like the way that I look at it is pretty similar to like the Noble Eightfold Path, for example. But something that you're saying as well is like how well rounded it is. I enjoy a lot of like the yogic sciences, you could say, because it does incorporate the body and like a lot of breath work and morality, like you mentioned, and just like all like very holistic path. And
Yeah.
if you do all of those things, then like everything is taken care of. Versus in Buddhism, it just kind of feels like, yeah, this is your fast pass to transcend the entire mind, and we're not going to care about anything else.
Yeah, I love how he said fast pass. That's exactly what it is. Like it's like fast pass to the roller coaster. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
barrel
It's like
down one
literally
track
the
and
only
then
thing you need.
yeah. just master one thing. Vipassana, Vipassana. Oh, I'm so good at concentration. Yeah. And then, I think it was like, was it Kenneth Folk who wrote in this book that he still had depression up to enlightenment, which is insane to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those
He
he
was like
did
his
not deal with
depression
morality.
didn't go away until like yeah. He was like
Yeah.
that shit did not go away until it was like full non-duality, bro. Like full blown fourth path is finally when it went away.
And it shows to me that he just didn't do the practices necessary to remove that depression. So yeah, I think, I mean, maybe that's a maybe that's a bold statement to say. Well,
Yeah. I mean, it's like the thing that I learned from other people in different paths and whatnot is just like there's so many different ways and practices in which this whole thing can manifest. And like, yeah, there is insight, there is concentration, there is morality, and they're three very separate things. And you could, and then within morality, there's like, yeah, the life of the character and like their physical health and their mental health and like the job that they have. And you don't need to be stable in your morality to be like a fully awake being. You don't even need to have crazy concentration. Do they help with each other? It seems like that, sure. But like at the end of the day, you could have full insight and none of the other two. You could have full morality and none of the other two. You could have full concentration and none of the other two. Like, and to see that those different combinations of different aspects and at different times with different people manifest in different ways is just really fascinating. Like everybody is truly on their own unique path, which is nutty.
yeah, your body's like kind of like a vessel. Um, so there's like the body aspect, and then maybe there's like the soul aspect. Yeah.
Yeah. What in Hinduism, what they break it down to like body, mind, spirit, right? And it's like all non-dual, so it's all the same shit, but it's like the Brahman and the Atman, and then I forget like the
Yeah, I
other
think the
one.
Atman's the soul, right? Or
Yeah, I think so
is
too.
that everything? I'm not sure.
Brahman is like everything.
Atman's just the
Atman, I
also.
think is this. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah. And then I think there's a third one in there too. But yeah, okay. So I think this kind of articulates everything, dude. Like we don't know everything about like Buddhism or Hinduism or whatever because you don't need to, man.
You
Like
don't
it's
need
just,
to. It's
it's
just
so much
knowledge.
simpler than all of that shit. Yeah.
Knowledge is the booby prize.
Yeah.
You don't need to
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
However, it's funny because I was chatting to a guy yesterday actually on this exact subject, and he was like, "Yeah, the Atman, the soul, is like located like I don't know wherever, and it's like one atom size. It's one atom, and I'm like thinking like, how do they know it's one atom?
Yeah.
I think there's some stuff they're like spot on with, and some stuff they just like fucking made up.
Yeah, dude. I don't know anything, man. It's just like I see what I see. And honestly, everything is like I could read this book right here, How to Understand the Mind, right, by this fucking
Oh, you
monk.
got them. Nice.
And I could eat Cheetos, just as enlightened doing both things, just as insightful doing. But if anything, I might learn more from eating the Cheetos than reading the book about the mind. Like,
Yeah, that's why it's
yeah,
important
it's
to like live life, just live life.
yeah. What else? Other what? Why do this? Why get involved in this other than to just live life? Like, like what
Yeah,
is the like? You need to integrate it in some way.
that's so
You don't
true.
need to do shit. It's just whatever the fuck is happening, man. But for my lens, it's like, yeah, like the whole like this is the most human and normal and just like regular experience ever. But and it's also totally not
However,
normal and totally superhuman. Yeah.
I
However,
would
what?
I would throw back on that, um, on how you're communicating here. And I would
Yeah.
say it can be easy to lose sight of maybe where you started or where people are right now with their suffering, which is intense, where they hate life, where they aren't enjoying things. I went to a men's circle last Tuesday. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of strange things. I went to my first men's circle, and it's basically like how you imagine in a movie. Um, there's like a bunch of chairs, like an Alcoholics Anonymous type thing. And everyone we go through like some exercises and we share some stories and things like that. Oh, well, not share stories, money, just talk about ourselves based on the question they would ask. And there's some really dark stuff, but that was the whole point: is men don't communicate enough about things like this, and it attracts some really dark people as well. Some people that have going through a lot of suffering. The interesting thing is I could see myself in each and every one of them. And I can see patterns that I used to have that I didn't have anymore, but I can see in them as well. I think it can be really easy to lose sight of, like, man, you're from a young age really conditioned to see things in a way, contract and suffer and not accept life as it is. And that's like really horrific and really painful for people. Yeah. So I think we shouldn't lose sight of that as well.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe I wasn't clear in the way I was articulating, but it's like these people are suffering and they just want to like enjoy their life and enjoy like what's going on and relieve themselves of suffering. But why go down the path of relieving yourself with suffering? Almost the opposite way. Like I feel like people start suffering really strongly and they're just like, I want to enjoy myself, I want to enjoy life more. And then they get so lost in like the spiritual stuff that they forget the fact that like they started the journey just to enjoy life more, you
Absolutely.
know?
I've done that many times.
Yeah. Me
But I
too,
think
man. Me too.
ultimately it's like needed, because then afterwards you dissolve the spirituality program, or enough of it at least, to realize that yeah, it just takes time, I suppose.
Yeah. And like it feels like just a depth of experience. Like for me to like quote unquote lose the spirituality program enough as much as I have, it took like really diving deep into the spirituality program and then letting it go. And then it came back and then it let go and then it came back. And now it's just like, oh, attachment on either side is not conducive to like peace. It contributes towards suffering.
Yeah, I think there's no like
Yeah.
perfect route or perfect because when you start to think about this, like, oh, okay, as somebody who could be a teacher, or let's say I'm a teacher, how would I best communicate
Yeah.
this? And then you're like, oh, actually, it's such an individual thing. And if you're saying, oh, you need to have a balanced approach, like, not necessarily. Do you need to do this? Not
Yeah.
necessarily. It's really easy to fall into a feeling that, how do you even say something without, how do you optimize the best? Because the rational Western society wants you to optimize. um, but I think with something like this, it's so individual, whereby people have to follow their own path based on um, lessons, but they need to apply those lessons and apply that wisdom directly to their own experience of their life, and the life will give them their own unique path and own unique set of experiences that will push them in the right direction ultimately.
Yeah. There's nothing to do. Just accept. Yeah. Like you could tell somebody again, like there is no right or wrong when it comes to any like that. I think that's the fundamental problem. It's like I need to do something to get somewhere. It's like, no, you're here. Just see that. Notice that. Notice that this is the only thing there is. And there's no other way to get here other than to think, like other than to just be here in some ways. And the more that you notice, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Life carries everybody through their own path. Like everybody learns and realizes and has insights on different things at different times and in different ways. Like if you've watched Angelo's channel, Simply Always Awake, he has those interviews with people that are awake and they tell their story. And every story is just so different from all the other ones. Like some people meditate for hours, for years. Some people have never meditated before. Other people go super deep in the theory. Other people have never even like understood or even attempted at learning any of this theory for stuff. And it's like, there's no one right way. People just wake up. It's a random thing. Who says that? John Yates, True Ladasa in The Mind Illuminated. He's like, awakening is an accident. Meditation just makes you more accident prone.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, like my main interest is like not the meta understanding of awakening, which is what we're talking about now. And I think what Daniel Ingram
Mhm.
very much enjoys talking about as well. But
Yeah.
the practicality, like the tactical aspects, um, that people can like apply to their life to alleviate suffering. That's what I've been enjoying talking about recently, actually, the most. Because
Yeah.
with this, it's like it comes to a fundamental question of like, oh, what's the point to anything? What's the point of reality? And then it comes to I don't know. But I think it's
Yeah.
from this like even this need to like know something or put a parameter or put like something on something else. Like put lines where there aren't lines. Draw a picture where there's no picture. Uh,
Yeah.
and then yeah, that leads to confusion, I guess. Like it's actually
Yeah. I
confusing to
relate.
think about because I'm trying to like think about it and it's like I don't know, it's there's nothing there to think about.
Yeah, it's just like the same, like the mind runs to some paradox that it can't comprehend, and then it's like the same shit. Like it's always the same thing. You keep thinking about something until it doesn't make sense because it's paradoxical, and then whatever, there's nothing there. What I've been more interested in is like similarly, yeah, how do we use technology specifically and like business or communication or just whatever resources are available to end the suffering of everybody in the world? Like that's the problem that I'm interested in solving. Like we create world peace through instilling inner peace within everybody, and then that extends outward. And how do you create systems that accelerate that process? Even though it doesn't need to be accelerated, but like, what else am I going to do with myself or my time other than try to help people suffer less?
Mm, yeah, for sure.
Or just exist. Yeah, yeah. But that's been, I don't know, whatever has been driving me or motivating me, it's just been very like, oh, yeah, how do we leverage all of these emerging technologies to create no suffering in the world at all? And that's been fun to think about. Like that's a puzzle to solve because it hasn't been solved yet. Like,
That's
yeah,
awesome. That's beautiful. I'm keen to see where you
yeah, yeah. I can,
like this.
yeah, I can show you what I've been working on, or like, yeah, let me show you
Let's
what I've
do
been
it.
working on,
Show
and
me
I
the
can,
blueprint.
yeah, dude, this is sick. So have you ever heard of like, oh, wrong screen. Have you ever heard of personal knowledge management before, or like building a second brain, for example?
Yeah, you got a notion. That's similar. But I don't manage it like a second brain. Huberman podcast about gratitude system for communicating better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so this is like, oh, this is hysterical, bro. You would actually probably find this pretty
Did
funny.
you make this?
No, I stole. I
Oh,
thought it
okay.
was funny.
True. Gurus, students. Fuck, it's so good. Can you
Yeah,
see?
yeah. When a wise
Please
man
send
points
that
at
to
the
me.
moon, an idiot looks at his finger.
So good. So good.
Yeah. Okay, so this is all the shit that I've captured today, or like all the thoughts that I've had. So it would be easier to explain it to you from this perspective. Okay, cool. So when it comes to having a second brain or building a digital mind, as we call it, so this is what we're doing for people. We're teaching them how to build their mind, like visualize their mind on something. There's a lot of reasons for this that we can get into, but we'll start with like really pragmatic at its most basic level. This is just a note-taking system. So why do we take notes? To remember things, because our memories suck, because our minds are meant to think of new things rather than to like remember old things. Right? So basically there are so many people when it comes to note taking, they run into like two problems. One is they just don't even capture the thoughts or write down their thoughts at all because they don't have anything to take notes on in that moment. So if like you're going on a walk and you think of a really good idea for a piece of content, for example, like if you have nowhere to write that idea, you're just going to forget about it and it may or may not come up again. So having a system where you can capture all relevant thoughts at any point in time is really valuable. So if you were to tell me something and I thought it was really valuable, all I am is just like one click and a big scroll away from immediately typing this new idea, right?
By the way, is this Notion or some other?
So
Yeah.
Oh, this is Obsidian. I love Obsidian. It is like way better than Notion or Apple Notes or any other note-taking app, in my opinion, for a lot of reasons that
You think it's
we
better
could get
than
into if you
sending?
wanted
Do
to.
you think it's better than sending yourself messages on Facebook to remember things?
Way better. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, way better.
right. No,
No way, dude. Yeah, you need a digital mind, man. Because I'll walk you through the process. So one is the first is they don't even have a place to capture the ideas. The second is then after, if they do happen to capture their ideas, like on Facebook, for example, you send yourself a message.
Hmm.
How often do you go back to those and then create actionable things or take action based off of those ideas? Or do you just let
I
them like
scroll
sit
through
in
it
the
every so
ether?
often, you know.
Okay,
Yeah.
precisely. Okay, cool. This is proving my point here.
Actually,
So
I'll
if
throw back there. I find that because I
okay.
check Facebook, like I'm an addict, bro. I'm an addict. I'm always scrolling and rolling. And so I'm checking Facebook and I'm checking my messages and I see myself. So I click there, I look at it. You know, I'm more likely to look at it. The problem with like these apps like Notion is I'm not in the habit of checking it. So often I write something down and it gets lost and I never look at it again and it's lost in some giant web. So maybe what you're talking about is going to solve my problem. Tell me more, Joe.
Absolutely, man. So if I look at all of my captures, for example, I have this organized in a way that makes sense for me. But I could look at this year. This is literally every thought that I had in all of October, bro, that I wanted to document, like, or even November. Like if I go to 2 days ago, these are all I need to organize these still, and I'll show you how they get organized. But it's like I have everything that I needed, or that was relevant to me on that day, right? So if we go back to my mind, then what happens is after you capture them, you then start to organize all of your thoughts into different areas, for example. So I don't have a lot of stuff in here right now. I'm still organizing it and building my mind out because I started this relatively recent within the past few months. But spirituality may be an area, business may be an area. So you go to one of your areas, it's like just core areas of life in general. So family or health may be another one. So I go to my business area. I have all of my active projects right here through business. And then I have my business resources right here. So if you get an idea for something that you want to take action on, you then organize those thoughts into like a project, for example, based off of actionability. So it can go to like a project, an area, a resource, or an archive. And the areas just house the resources and the projects basically. But now I have projects that I'm actively working on. Something that constitutes a project is a due date for it and a clear goal. And then you break each of your projects into to-dos, so to speak. And as long as you know the due date for the project and you break it up into all the separate to-dos that you need to do it. So maybe let's create a new project under the health category, right? So let's say projects, let's say a new health project is running project one. Oh, this is so funny. Okay, running project one right here. The goal is to run 3 times. The timeline is 1 week. Your general idea that you got that for is I want to run 3 times a week at moderate pace for 20 minutes. So you just create a to-do list. 3 times this week is the goal. Okay, so you plan it out 11/4, 11/5, 11/6. You take this, you go to your today's page, and then you just throw it in your to-do list. And then like right here, call with you right there.
So
And then you just,
dynamically
yeah,
generated, like the links, everything. I don't have to keep making them and sorting it out and like all that stuff. How does it work?
making what and sorting what
Like
out.
today, it's like today. Like how does it know it's today? Doesn't make a new today every
Oh, okay.
stuff like that.
No. So that's just like a small process that I do. So hypothetically, if I wanted to take everything that I've created today, right? I could command A, but my command A is a short key for something else. So I need to change that at some point in time because this is pretty inefficient. But I just copy everything from today, right? I go to my mind. I go to this year, scroll down here. What's today? 11/4. You create a new one, 11/4/23. And then new
Oh.
note, bam, everything is right there now. You uh, go back to today. And then now you just delete everything and you start over for the next day and then you document it. So then you have all of your day's views, all the stuff you've captured, everything that you did already right there. And then what you could do if you were like really ahead of things is you could plan out your days or all of your to-dos in advance. So like hypothetically, I could have like on a Sunday, I could document all of the projects that I have going on, break them down into to-dos, and then break the to-dos down throughout the week. And then you have your whole week planned out. I am not that, I don't prefer to do my system that way, but for some people it works really well. And I guess that's the cool thing about all this is like you can have frameworks for how you organize your mind. But everybody's mind is different. Everybody organizes their mind different. Everybody has different systems for this. But why I like something like Obsidian, for example, is because there's multiple different ways that you can organize or categorize your notes. So you have folders. I don't use my folders as well as I could on the side here. Still trying to create a system for that. You have the backlinks, which you have seen that just take you back to whatever page you were on. And then you can tag stuff as well. But the really cool part about all of this is not only does it allow you to capture your ideas and then organize them and express them in a way that's most valuable to others, but it also gives you the opportunity to link all of your ideas together. And that happens pretty serendipitously.
No
But if I
way.
look at all of, yeah, dude, if I look at
How
all
did
of
you
my
do
notes right
that?
here, it creates it for you. It's through the platform. It does this,
How does it
which is why
know
Obsidian
what
is,
the links are between each other?
because if I click on today's note, for example, or like if I click on, okay, so today's note, everything that pops up is everything that is backlinked to it. So if I go to meeting system right here, it has today right there. So it just tracks all of the links between each of the notes that you have.
So
And it creates like a neural
the
network of,
idea is you put links about subjects like tags. And there's like tags, and you would have common tags so you can link your pages together if it's on a similar topic, or
you can link whatever you want to link. So for example, this is my today's note, right? So at any point in time, oh, this is funny. This is yesterday's note because 11/3 was yesterday for me. I are also have the today's note link there. I don't know why. I could go to my this week note, right? Or I could go to my sales project note and then it can go back to today, right? So then it's like literally just anything that you find relevant or any page that you would like to go back to from here. So like this is my homepage. So my today note links back to my homepage, but basically all other pages that I have link back to my today's note. So I'm always one click away from my entire workflow for today, basically. And then if I want to go to like the absolute home of my mind, then I just go to today and then back to my mind. So it's just whatever works best for you or whatever is best for your workflow. But the reason that like if I open this up, for example, the reason that like today is linked is like such a big note that has links to everything is because that's where like I operate my workflow from on a day-to-day basis. So I'm always going back to today's note. So all of my notes are basically linked to today's note, right?
Okay,
Yep.
interesting. What's
Mm-hmm.
the
And then all of these are links too. Yeah, say that again.
what's the benefit of handling a today type situation? Why would you want to link to today? Like if you're looking in the past and you're trying to find some information from like a few weeks ago, like I don't know, how is that useful?
Yeah. So it depends on what specifically you're looking for. Because if I just wanted to figure out, for example, like, oh, well, what was I thinking about on October 12th? Okay, this is all the stuff that I did. So this is an organized note. So instead of all the text being there, you organize it into specific pages or links. And then once you get these links together, okay, cool. Huberman learnings. What is in here? Huberman morning routine. Okay, cool. So if the Huberman morning routine is right there, hypothetically, I would throw that in like the health area, right? As like a resource. So health, oh, sorry. Health resources. Bam. Okay, now I have Huberman right there for all my
Okay.
health
So
resources.
what if you, okay, so
Mm-hmm.
like let's consider a situation where I every day read a bit of Huberman, or I will listen to some of this podcast, 20 minutes, and I write some
Mm-hmm.
notes every single today for a week. Now I
Yeah.
have 10
Yeah.
Huberman snippets. How do I combine them together and put them in that Huberman page? Do I just go Huberman 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the health section, or
Yeah, so that is a great question. So, okay, hypothetically, let's say I was typing all these notes on Huberman today, right? And it's like Huberman, Huberman, Huberman. If I know that a Huberman note exists somewhere, then I could literally just like summon that note right here by typing his name. Okay, cool. And then I can copy this and then throw it if it's related to his morning routine. Cool. I can just set it with everything else in his morning routine. If it's something completely different, for example, then I could create a new note that's like
Oh,
uh
okay. So you make a
Huberman.
basicable page, and then you can nest any number of pages inside. It's not like Notion where it's like you can't re-nest them. Yeah,
Correct. Yeah. And so
that's
the
really
way that you could
nice.
you could operate it from a lot of different views. The whole point is like anything that's on here, you want to be able to access within like 20 seconds. So if you organize all the notes that you capture into different areas, for example, then it's like, okay, well, if I want to look for Huberman shit, that's going to be in the health section. If I want to look for like how to sell to somebody, that's going to be in the business section. You know what I mean? So it's like it's very easy. And then you could
So
also
good.
organize it by like your active projects that you have going on right there, right? So if you know that like, oh, I just want to know what I'm working on currently, these are all the things that I'm working on right now. And I could name them better, of course. Obviously, you don't know much about them if it's like sales project one or design project one, unless you click on it, right? But yeah, it's pretty, I love this. My productivity has gotten much better as I learn it more and more. But what we're offering to people is um, a 4-week course where you get a community of like-minded people who are interested in like uh really like what we've seen so far and who has bought from us is like people around our age, dudes interested in mindfulness based self improvement, you could say. And then we give them systems for like health, wealth, and happiness, and then projects for health, wealth, and happiness that they can start to enact on day to day. And you just bring the community of people together and we talk about like how we're developing our minds and what we've learned and the exercises that we're doing. And then the coolest part, and this is like my idea, right? So this is on Obsidian software, but eventually I want to have my own software. And you can share vaults on Obsidian. So this is just a vault, for example, which is just a series of notes that you have. But your individual mind is your mind, right? But if you took the course together that we're putting together for people, that would then be a hive mind. So you could create a hive mind that's organized the same way in different areas. And like, say, I learned a lot of really cool stuff about Huberman over the course of the 4 weeks that I'm taking the course. I can then put all of my most valuable Huberman learnings in the hive mind for anybody else to pick up and do. Or
Very
like
cool.
if I read about meditation, I can put it in the hive mind and other people can take that information. So it's really a communication system. The long-term vision here is like creating a communications platform that everybody on the world is on and they can align around certain things. So it's like everybody in the mind is aligned around like happiness or like the eradication of suffering for everybody in the mind. Because that's another problem about communications platforms or social platforms. One is that like anybody can post anything on Facebook, no matter how detrimental or harmful or non-harmful it is to somebody else. And then two, a lot of people don't work on communication or alignment with themselves before they then express outwardly. So the way that you could see this is like after you capture everything in your mind and you complete a project, that project then gets distributed to an area that has its own resources in it as well. And now that you have completed projects and distilled resources and areas and whatnot, you could then now give all of your valuable information to a different hive mind somewhere.
Mm.
Or like even if we were sharing a hive mind, like maybe I would feel comfortable with you seeing all of my like raw just notes every single day. So I would give you access to all this. But there may be some stuff that I don't want my like parents seeing in there. So if I had a hive mind with my family, I might not share those aspects of my mind with my family. But it's
Mm.
no different than like in real life. So right now, we're just doing an IRL hive mind with each other. Like you and I are coming together to communicate with one another, to accelerate our insights and help each other like just connect and feel seen or present with each other in some sort of way, to enjoy ourselves here and to get aligned on like you're updating me on what's going on in your life, I'm updating you on what's going on in my life. So if we had a hive mind, it would literally just be the same thing. I would go to our hive mind to get updated and aligned with you on who like what you're doing and what you're thinking about, and then we could go from there. So it's literally like your mind is just an extension of your own like brain or mind or whatever you want to call it. And then the hive mind is just an extension of two people talking or interacting, or multiple people talking or interacting with one another. So I would either share things about myself with you, or I would share things that I've learned with you. And it's no different. You would go to the hive line to get my most valuable things that I've learned, or to get my most valuable self-expressions to you.
Awesome. This is very cool. This is very, very cool.
Thanks, bro.
Especially, I feel
Yeah.
like, well, a social media platform lacks um, a way to put out information in a way that is shareable, is teachable, is learnable, is linked to other
Mm-hmm.
things. I don't really see a platform like this that, has been created like in the web browser that produces, the sharing of information. So if this can, you know, propagate and even develop further to be more accessible for people, I think it's going to be a massive game changer. I definitely want to try something
Yeah.
out. I would definitely want to try out this in the future. Yeah.
Would you be interested in the course by any chance?
Is it online or is it like over call? Because the time zones would be horrific.
Yeah, the time zones would be horrific. So we have one guy that's wouldn't be able to make like the weekly calls that we have, and he's paying for the course as well. We're gonna Zoom record and then send the recordings to everybody if you aren't able to make it. We
Mm.
also have a Discord chat that everybody is in, and we'll send you a summary of the like what was talked about in the course as well. But it's really just a matter of like you have a community of people that you're aligned with and you're building something with. And even if you aren't there physically in person for the Zoom sessions, you can be on there for the Discord chat. And I will also be glad to like take time to go over like, okay, this is what we're learning in the course, like have a one-to-one with you, like what we're doing right now, basically.
Okay.
Um, the only reason, yeah, the reason I say that is actually we are maxing out. We're capping at 10 spots for the course. We have 9 filled up right now, which is funny. But this is the biggest bang for your buck that you would get, because in the future, if me and Jordan, my co-founder, were to run something like this, it would probably be like $500 to $1,000.
Okay.
But because it's our first time running it, we need to build social proof and want to give the most value to people. So yeah, like for example, we're running another cohort a month from now, but that's going to be $297 instead of $97, for example.
Okay. I see. I see. Yeah, think about
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Oh, and a money back guarantee if you don't feel like you got $100 worth out of it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no worries. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's a thought.
So are you saying you'd like to do it, or like what was
I don't know,
that?
maybe. Like I'm doing a lot of my life right now. So um
Yeah, I will say
I
so.
want to like
Oh,
firstly
you got it.
I want to give Obsidian a try, like on my own first, and see like how simple or not simple it is to use. Because if it's like simple enough whereby I can pick it up, it's best probably best for me just to pick it up. Like not saying your course isn't like really helpful for people, but I don't know, I'd save $90, right? So
Yeah, valid. I
it's not
think the
anything personal. Like I'm sure the course is fantastic. It looks great. But
oh yeah.
like I'm probably not your I mean, I guess I'm sort of the sort of guy that could be your target market, but like for me personally in my life right now, it's like I just don't care that much.
Yeah, totally valid, dude. And I'm not gonna like I guess this is the thing with like selling stuff too, is there's no need to push the sell on somebody if they don't think that it would be legitimately valuable for them and that they would like want to do it, right?
Yeah.
What I would say to what you're saying though is one, yeah, of course, you could pick up Obsidian and you'd probably be able to pick it up pretty well, pretty quickly. But the community aspect would help you accelerate your picking up of it, which you could value or not value. And then I would also say, if you have a lot of stuff going on in your life, like the reason I got so into this is because I had so much shit going on and I realized I could never keep up with all of it. So I needed a system that would allow me to keep
Mm.
up with all the crap I have going on, keep me
Right.
on task for my to-do list and projects and stuff.
True,
Yeah.
true, true. What's the what's the time commitment per week? Is it like a 1 hour call plus something else or
So what we will have, hypothetically, you don't need to commit to any of it. You get in what you get out what you put in, right? But yeah, we're gonna have 2 1-hour calls a week where everybody gets together, and then I'll have office hours throughout the week. But the only like technical commitment that we encourage people to go to is the class twice a week. But if you can't make that, like I said, we'd send you a summary of the class, and then a recording of it as well.
Yeah, true. Not
Yeah.
bad. It's not bad for
Yeah.
$25 a week, to be honest. It's been not a bad
Yeah, dude. And like for
price.
real, if you don't feel like you get your money's worth out of it, like we will give you a full refund. Like we would be happy to give you a full refund if you didn't feel like you got your money's worth out of it.
Yeah, cool. I feel like selling is
Yeah.
such an interesting
And
thing.
then
Seeing you do this, it kind of it's such an interesting thing because you're adding value to something, and people are paying you to offer like a service or something. I don't know what it is about
yeah.
like conditioning, but because you are conditioned to be in this sort of like employee frame, an employee of somebody else, I think you lose sight of like because there's I could teach you how to do something with cell phone, right? Um, you forget that you could have value there, and you could like say, "Hey, I'll do this. You pay me this much money." It's interesting to think about.
Yeah. It is really strange, the whole landscape of it all. And like how it can be like the way I conceptualize business is just creating win-wins for people. So like I if through giving this course and having this community as a part of your life, you make some crazy realizations, or maybe you meet your fucking business partner and you make $1 million with somebody in that course, right? Like that would be worth more than $100 to you, and the $100 is worth it to us to then teach the course to you. So it's just like it's a win for you, it's a win for us. If it doesn't happen to be a win for you, then we will give everything back, kind of thing. Like ethical business is very cool to think about. And how can we like scale, like how can the $100 you spend with me be more valuable than any other use of your $100, like spending it on McDonald's or some shit like that? And if you can create legitimate like a tangible value from the like emotional well-being or like the wealth generating well-being for somebody else, where it's like, oh, you spent 100 with me, but that created a system that then generated you like $5,000 per month. That's pretty good. So yeah, value creation on both sides is really cool to think about, and finding that like product market fit with things.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah. When's your
Yeah.
cohort starting?
Monday. Yeah. And
Oh,
then I
so
will
like a few
also
days.
say, yeah, it starts on Monday, and then you were capping it at 10 as
Okay,
well
so
before. I mean, the
I'll have to
next
let
cohort,
you know by um what do you call it? End of today, right? Tomorrow?
well, and unless somebody buys before then, because if another person buys, then we'll be maxed out, and I
Yeah, no
can't
worries.
let you into the course.
How are you
Yeah.
marketing?
I just reach out to people and talk. Like I literally just so we're not marketing right now, we're just selling. And then eventually we'll add the
Okay, like
marketing to
in
it.
like one-on-one
Yeah.
selling. Yeah, okay. Makes sense. Makes sense.
Outbound reach and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I just go on LinkedIn and talk to a lot of people, or just like talk to my friends. Cause this is the other thing, dude. It's like if I'm providing like we're going hard for this first course because it's the first one, and we want like our first 10 customers are going to be our most valuable customers ever, right? Like that's the foundation for which we built the business and everything else on. And I would rather go, it's much easier for me to go really hard on providing value for like people I know and my friends rather than like some random people who are buying it, you know? Uh, so that's part of it. And then the people in the cohort are chill, man. Like a few of them actually found me through my YouTube channel and are like super into spirituality and business and Frank and all of that stuff. Some other people are also really into entrepreneurship. I guess, yeah, the united theme for everybody that's taking it is just like mindfulness based self improvement.
Right. That's cool. What's the time zone?
Yeah.
Like what time is it being run at?
Yeah. The course is 6:30 p.m. Eastern time,
Let me Google
which
it. It's two.
it's like 10 a.m. your time, I think.
Like 10 a.m. on 9:30 a.m. So it'd be 9:30 a.m. on Tuesday, which I wouldn't be able to do like live. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that live. Yeah. And then I'll also have office hours an hour before and an hour after. Like if for whatever reason you can't make that time, or obviously I could do office hours at any other point in time throughout the week as well.
Yeah, cool. No, no, it sounds like a good thing. I'd probably do
Yeah.
it if I could attend them live, like and hang out with people and meet them. But otherwise, for me,
Yeah.
it's like the value I'm getting personally for me is
Yeah. Yeah.
like just recordings of it, which I could probably just find online and like tinker around with myself and learn. So um I'm trying to be a bit more like mindful of money right now. Like I guess I get you trying to sell to me. Um but yeah, I'll say for me, like personally, it's probably going to be a no right now. Maybe in the future. But yeah.
Yeah, totally valid. And like, yeah, to be clear, like I don't really have a preference whether you buy or not. Like we're good. And we have the course filled up and we will fill up that 10th spot as well. I say it more so from the perspective of like if you did want to buy in the future, it'll be more expensive for the same thing, or you'd be paying the same price for something that's not as quality of a product.
Okay.
And then on the community aspect of things, totally get that it would be more valuable if you were there live with all the things. The only other part of it that you would still be able to retain would just be like the Discord community over the span of the 4 weeks. And then we're also going to facilitate like one-to-ones with different people in the cohort as well to get all of y'all networked with each other and just like meeting cool people. So that would be the only part that you'd miss out on. Just giving you that for clarity if that changes your decision at all. But dude, yeah, if it doesn't make sense to you, it doesn't make sense to you. I'm not going to push you to buy something that is not worth it, you know?
No, that's all good. Yeah. No, I'll let you know. I'll let you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
It's
Yeah,
feeling like a no for me right now. Um,
yeah,
yeah. I don't know why. It just doesn't feel like a yes for me. Like energetically.
yeah, yeah. That's valid. Listen to your gut, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will try out the second brain stuff. It's something I want to do.
Yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start making content on like different frameworks that you can use for your second brain, and we'll eventually have like vaults that we just give people that have like templates and shit already in there. So I'll keep you posted for all the stuff that we end up doing. Maybe I'll send you my newsletter, and if you subscribe to the newsletter, then
I'm
you
part
get
of your
emails about
newsletter,
what
but
we're
I
up
haven't
to.
haven't got anything recently. Is it another
Which
newsletter?
newsletter you subscribe to?
The Joe
It may be a
Niemchak
different one.
meditation one?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a different one. I need to find a way to transfer all my old newsletter people to the new newsletter.
When you
But
like
yeah, I
just
just sent it
bulk
in.
when you bulk emailing everybody and it would come up with all the email
Hmm.
addresses. You were like
Yeah,
in like
yeah.
100 people or something crazy, and like you weren't like putting them into BCC so everyone can see everyone else's email.
Uh-huh.
It was the days.
Yeah. Those were the days, man. That's back that yeah. That's just like trying to do some shit and learning it the hard way and just iterating, dude. That's the That'll be a funny thing. Those are the funny things to look back on when it's like 5 years from now, when the business is built out super well and it's like all the systems are pretty and it's a real branded company. It'll be like, yeah, remember when I was sending out a fucking Gmail newsletter to people and everybody was like CC'd with no email list and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So funny, dude.
Are you still doing your AI business with the Buddy AI? Or is it gone?
No, that's what. So eventually, Buddy is going to integrate with the mind. So hypothetically, it would be something along the lines of like for this call, instead of us having to record it and then capture it and then document it, it would just be like, hey, Buddy, can you record this call, throw it in the appropriate section in my mind, and also generate a summarized GPT report and throw that in me and Dylan's hive mind.
Right.
And then it would just do that and we wouldn't have to do anything. Yeah.
Very
This is
cool.
also the cool thing about building a second brain or a mind is like with using AI, it's great if it has the proper context, but most people won't have the context to be able to bring to AI. But if you have a repository of information about yourself and what is most valuable to you, then the AI has all the context that it would ever need about you to be able to help you out. So if you build out this second brain or this mind of your own and you throw in like journal entries and also like how you feel about spirituality or what your goals are, whatever it may be, and you just train Buddy, for example, on the contents of your mind, then it would be able to help you out super well, because it would have all the context about you that it would need, versus people who don't have like a growing repository or a data set of information about themselves. Once AI is able to help us out more, and it already is able to help us out a lot, but like only as the technology gets bigger, like they're going to be at less of an advantage because they don't have like documented learnings over time of who they are as an individual that they can feed the model to for it to like learn about them, for example, and help them out.
Yeah, true. Did you evaluate
Yeah.
other options apart from Obsidian? Like, what other ones did you evaluate, and what were your thoughts on some of them?
Yeah, Notion is an alternative because again, it's just like a note-taking system at its very simplest form. So Notion, Apple Notes, for example. There's a couple other like more quirky or dev-like note-taking applications, but yeah, I looked through all of them and talked to some friends that are a bit deeper into it than me and watched some YouTube videos comparing like best things for a second brain. But I love Notion because of the community, the plugins that it has, and then the fact that the backlinks work so well. You can visualize all the connections between things. You can create hive minds or like vaults between people. Yeah, and you can organize by all three of the main organizers of thought, which are the backlinks, the folders, and the tags. So having all three accessible to you is great. And then the other thing is privacy. So Obsidian stores the vault locally on your hard drive with text files and markdown format. So like if you ever wanted to transfer from like Obsidian to, for example, the Mind, it would be super easy because if it supports markdown format, then all of your stuff just gets formatted very nicely and neatly, just in whatever front end or application that you transfer the things to. Versus Notion isn't in markdown; it's its own like weird formatting. Apple Notes is so hard to back, like you can't even backlink Apple Notes. Yeah, Obsidian's just pretty sick, dude. I can't lie.
Yeah, no, Obsidian does look cool. I think I
Yeah.
remember looking at something else. It was like more of a dev one though.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember seeing a video of like why I switched from Notion to this other tool, and it was meant to be like the best
Mm-hmm.
one. But I don't know if it was Obsidian or something else. But
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't really matter at the end of the day if it has those features. That's all you need. Like if it has enough of the dev features, which Notion's lacking.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like there's some S tier kind of like note taking systems, and Obsidian is just one of the S tier ones. And you could have the other ones and it'd probably be great. But yeah, it's definitely like top notch quality from my perspective and what I've learned about all this stuff so far.
Yeah, that's sick. Seems to have the features you'd want. So, and I love
Yeah.
the graph. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And basically, like,
I was actually thinking about making physical notes recently.
oh,
I've
sick.
been trying to
Yeah.
get more
Physical
physical
notes are good.
because I feel like digital just hasn't worked for me that well. I wanted to get
Mm,
back into like physical stuff and like walking around my room and like holding and touching things, being more tangible.
yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. I see the benefit to both of those things, like just going like super archaic and back to pen and paper versus just like completely digitizing your note system. Like I think there's definitely a more intimate connection when you have like everything tactile in your hands and you're writing it out and all that stuff. But there are obvious reasons for why somebody would also want to do things digitally as well. So again, it's like everybody's productivity and note-taking system looks pretty different, but I think if you have a productivity stack of software, Obsidian and having like a digital mind in there is pretty darn good.
Yeah, yeah. I'll try it out.
Yeah.
What else did we
Yeah,
like?
absolutely, dude. And dude, just like literally just this, man.
That's
Like I
it?
wake up and yeah, I work on the business and I go on walks and like I either do nothing or work on the business. That's it. Yeah.
Oh,
Because a lot of the things that incorporate working on the business is like, well, I hang out with friends too occasionally. That's nice. But usually when I hang out with my friends, it's talking about meditation or business or like the same shit that we talk about, right? So yeah, I just work on the business, which incorporates like like if I read about the mind, for example, that's working on the business to me. So like if I read about spirituality, that's working on the business to me. So read, write, sell, market, meditate, go on walks, spend time in the sun, dance, listen to music. Yeah. The usual, bro.
Oh,
Simple life.
interesting. I haven't been consumed by like a business desire yet. It's interesting.
Mm, mm.
'Cause
Yeah. Business. Well,
I
I'm
haven't,
interested in business for the impact, the positive impact that it can bring, but also the freedom that it can bring. Like eventually we're going to automate this course and then throw it online and then have a series of like ads and stuff that just funnels related people to it. And it's very easy to like have a money making machine where like you funnel people to the course with ads, they take the course, you funnel them into a continuity like subscription program for a certain amount of money every month. And then once they're in that continuity program that they're paying for every month, if they see the value in it, once you grow that, that's just a compounding vehicle over time. And then say you spend $5,000 on ads to get $10,000 in revenue for your automated course. Now you have $10,000. You can pocket a couple grand, throw 7 grand back into ads, and then you get 14K, right? And then that vehicle compounds on itself as well. So the financial freedom that comes from it initially, like if you build a money making system, is really great because then I can work anywhere. Don't have to put, I could put like 1 hour or 2 hours of maintenance into the system every single day. Could be making a lot of money every month. And then I can afford to just like dedicate my life to whatever my passion project is, which to me is like building out the mind to help people. But if I wanted to take a month off of that, I could because I have the money system. If I wanted to go super hard on it, I could because I have the money system. So building out that initial money system for financial freedom first is just like, I don't know. It's a good, like, you can put a solid 1 to 2 year investment in it, and then you have financial freedom for the rest of your life, which I think is worth it.
yeah, definitely seems to give you a lot
Yeah.
of freedom and a lot of value as a person. As far as because when I think about like, oh, if I put myself in the shoes of you and I was offering something like this or like another equivalent business, because I think, okay, if I was
Yeah.
a business, what could I even offer? Um, it feels like for me personally, something like this isn't like alleviating enough, isn't like impacting or alleviating suffering in the world to how I see it. Like I see it like just another toy in the like illusion of life. Like it's not
Mm.
like it's like just a fun toy, basically. I guess that's what Frank Yang said when he saw AI. He's just like, oh, it's just like the same as talking to somebody. Like, I don't know. I kind of see it as just like a fun toy now. Like even reading books for me. Like I remember I used to um and I think enjoy reading self-help or factual books more. And I realized probably the reason I don't care about it anymore is because there's that need to like know, or that part of my brain that is the self-improver or the needer of, hey, I'm getting somewhere, I'm somebody going in some direction, in some place, in some time, is kind of gone away. And so when I read that book, I just don't get the same hit from it. It's just not any more interesting than walking outside, meditating, or looking at grass.
Yeah. Yeah. That
Um,
makes perfect sense.
but for me, like I've been thinking about like what can I actually do for business. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Like, because I do want to earn more financial freedom and money and stuff like that. Maybe it's something I just need to chuck myself into and find out. What do you think?
Yeah. I would suggest our community. That's what I would suggest
Start a
because it's all a
community.
bunch of people asking the same questions. Yeah. Uh,
So
like the
you
course, for
think
example.
business um a good business would be a business service, like a service where you are offering like communication based value, and knowledge based value and knowledge acquisition rather than like a physical product. Um, because
Mm,
it seems like that's the only thing people can do these days is offer communication based services. Now, a lot of people are offering it, and now it's the hardest thing I think is how do you differentiate your communication based service compared to somebody else that's offering something else. Um,
mhm.
And you see a lot of coaches, many of them perhaps are mediocre, but it's very hard to differentiate what a coach is. And now these millions of Facebook coaches, many at very young ages that don't have necessarily the life experience to offer value, like a quality level of service, I would say. So
Yeah.
what I've been
What
thinking,
comes to mind right now is
sorry? Go.
like niches. Like if you solve a specific problem for a specific person, niches will get you riches, is what they say. So like, for example, if you found that like the course that we've sold to, everybody that's in the course is a Gen Z person that is interested in learning more about themselves, building a business and technology. And so it's like that specific group of people, I can offer some sort of knowledge to them or some sort of education to them that solves specific problems in their lives or caters to them, their lifestyle specifically. So like I could hypothetically, like what we're doing right now is we're building out productivity systems for people. There are many people that are building out productivity systems, which creates competition, but nobody is creating a productivity system in a way that solves the problems of somebody who is a Gen Z who's interested in business, mindfulness, and like self-improvement, for example. So we solve a specific problem or like target or bring together a specific group of people that's more relatable than somebody who's doing something more general. So like you could hypothetically build out a product. This is like market research for business as well, which is just like talking to a lot of people. But it's like you could find through market research that women who work in tech who are under 30 have a very challenging time feeling comfortable at the gym, and they get like anxiety about the gym. So then you can start marketing to, hey, are you in tech and under 30 and anxious about going to the gym but want to work out more? Here is my guide to feeling less anxious and getting to the gym, plus free workouts for you once you decide to do that, or some shit. And now you're catering to a very specific group of people better than the person who's like a general coach who's just like, I'm going to help with anxiety, or I'm going to help you go to the gym. You found a specific person, a specific avatar, a specific problem that they have, and then you developed a product or service that solves that problem for them. And to answer your question, the best business is the one that makes money. So if you have a great idea or a great product, this is like a very developer mindset that I see. Not saying that you're saying this, but just like in general, a lot of the devs that I work with is like they build something that they would find value in, and then they're like, this is the coolest thing ever. And then they try to sell it to people and they're like, why would I ever want this? Just because you
So,
think it's cool or like valuable doesn't mean other people will. Yeah.
so the best business is a business that makes money. If you're coming from the perspective of, I need to make money, I need to make profit. But how I
Well,
see it is the best business is something that positively impacts the most people. They are
yeah,
different.
you just said the same thing.
They are different.
They're the same.
Often the best
The way I conceptualize it,
they aren't.
because
Oh,
yeah,
I don't think so. When I went to this event here with this guy in the Goggins event,
yeah,
he was talking about
yeah,
you've got many businesses that offer great products but aren't marketed well, but are
mm-hmm.
substantially better than the best business that's making the most money, that has the most students or clients, but
Yeah,
isn't offering a good product. Just because you can sell, just because you are making more money, doesn't mean you have a better product. Doesn't mean you're impacting more people. I
yeah,
mean, we can look at the world and we can see how many things aren't great or are wrong, but are popular. Just because everyone's drinking alcohol, it's a popular product, doesn't mean it's good for you. No, people don't necessarily do things that are the best for them. And if you're operating from a model of a business should make money as the first and primary goal, then you are going to be driven by that. Then it's going to influence every aspect of that business. And it's going to, in my opinion, pollute maybe the original reason you wanted to be in business, which is something that's beyond that.
yeah. No, I agree with you totally. I think yeah, so if I were to articulate myself better, you aren't a business until you have made money. But that doesn't mean it's the best business if you're making the most money. What I think is important, and I guess the way I simplify business is like there's product and there's sales, and marketing is like a subdivision of sales, right? So it's like you have a quality product that does the most positive that it can in the world, and then you're selling that product to somebody. And you can have a business that has a really great product and shitty sales and they never get off the ground. And you could have a business that has a really shitty product and great sales, and then they do well. So I think the best business is one that has a great product that positively impacts people or alleviates their suffering, that you could say long term, and then also sells really well on top of that.
Yeah, I agree.
And that would be my answer there. Yeah, but I agree with
Positive
you on the
marketing
aspect of like
and then
positively impacting people.
definitely. I think as long as you are marketing in an authentic way and your goal is or you keep that positive intention, because I think, and maybe what I'm seeing a little bit in you is I feel like you've maybe shifted into, because you're probably hanging around a lot of business people and reading a lot of business books where very little of it is that morality aspect. And so a bigger focus starts to become for you um, the the pursuit of profit, the pursuit of money. But I think
Mm,
money should just come if you're marketing authentically and you have the best intention. And I think that's the most important thing. If you can do that, and if money doesn't come, that should be fine. Like it shouldn't be, oh, now I'm going to twist and turn my business to try to generate some money from what I'm offering. Like if that is how life is unfolding for you, and you know, and you have that certainty that, okay, this business is offering so much value and it's impacting people and it's helping people, um, and you're marketing very authentically, whether or not people buy should be irrelevant, in my opinion.
yeah, that's interesting. I would likely disagree just due to past experiences that I've had, which would be that if you don't figure out how to communicate with the customer or identify their pain points or solve a problem in a way and let them know that you can solve that problem, it doesn't necessarily matter how quote unquote authentic your marketing is. You are not like, you're not going to make sales. So I would say that, yeah, it should be driven by whatever your mission or your purpose is. So I see a lot of people in business landscapes that their vision or their mission isn't actually authentic. And that's what causes them to not succeed as a company, or causes them to do more harm than good, because their actual mission in their head is just to make money. But if you take from the perspective of like what our overall mission is, which is to create like a global communications platform for the world to align so there can be peace among everybody, that's where the profit is turning into, and why we want profit to be able to scale the ability to create seamless communication systems for people. Because money or profit, the way I see it, is just an enhancer. So if you're a dick and you get a lot of money, you're just going to be a bigger dick than you were before you had money. And if you're like a really wonderful person who's doing good for the world, if you get money, then you're going to use that money and create more good for the world, basically. So like I guess specifically, since you mentioned like my situation or what's going on, and that's what's relevant to our conversation right now, it's like this 4-week course that we're giving people is so undervalued at $97. Like Jordan alone as a psychotherapist, his time is worth over $150 an hour, just for his presence as a psychotherapist.
That's awesome.
So 8 hours of like the coaching plus the community plus the office hours plus what we do behind the scenes to help people build their minds out and all that stuff, to me is like, I don't really want anybody to pay us unless they feel like their lives have changed like drastically for the better. And I want to be able to give them their money back if they don't feel that way. So yeah, definitely important to set quotas for sales and profits so you can continue to live and continue to like pursue your dreams. But at the same time, you should I want to feel very okay with all of the money I made, because I know I return 10x that or more in value to those people or in like a positive impact. Because just for longevity of business as well, like what retains a customer is trust that you build with them, and you build trust by giving so much more value than anything that they give you. So as time passes as well, like the more services that we offer and the less dependent on like profit, I guess you could say, we become, we can just give more and give more and give more. So like we could give away the automated course for free at some point in time. If we have more offers that would then funnel people into that, we could give away free templates to people. We could give away free educational resources through the lens of content or whatever it may be. So yeah, all of it is like when we and Jordan sit down to align on things, it is all about what the mission is and how do we accomplish that mission during our lifetime, or how do we like push the most progress towards that mission of uniting everybody in a harmonious way, basically. But money is a good tool to help us do that. So that's why we are pushing for sales, so we can reinvest that into a machine or into a system that helps accelerate the process of that goal over a long period of time.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
I'll think about this more. And I do want to try out something that you have sort of tried out, or you are trying out, this whole business thing. I'll be eagerly awaiting your journey to hear what happens.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I can say that like things are definitely looking up from here on out because we've actually made sales. Like I've made $1,000 this month, which is like so rich compared to before. But I will say, dude, like just because there's so much learning that go into a business from my perspective, like I have been really dedicating myself to trying to figure out how to do a business and run a successful one and get it off the ground for over a year, and Jordan has been trying for like multiple years. And it's not because we weren't trying or because we aren't smart people. It's just that there's a lot to learn to start a business. But that's where like community comes in, for example, like all the people that are taking the course, not all of them, but I know 4 of them that have successful businesses that profit and that they do full time. And that is super valuable, I guess, to have the insights of those people conglomerated and then shared within a hive mind, for example, to somebody who may be interested in business but doesn't know what to do or how to go about certain things, but has knowledge and the ability to bring value. Because like you're I guess you are fundamentally aligned on like I guess what is quote unquote most important in my eyes, which is just like alleviating suffering for people. And so if that's tension, then that's wholesome, and your business is going to accomplish that in some way, shape, or form. But how skillfully you execute sales and marketing and product development and messaging, and your offers are huge as well. Like that will determine if the business actually like gets off the ground and succeeds and is able to make money. And that shit is hard to figure out, man. From my experience, at least.
Yeah,
Maybe it's super easy
I
for
think
you.
it
I don't know.
really is a difficult problem to solve. Yeah, I actually got to head off pretty soon. But
Yeah,
I'd be keen to
yeah,
continue this chat another time.
yeah. Absolutely, man. It's always a pleasure to chat with you, and excited for whenever the next time we chat is and how our relationship continues to unfold. Above all else, I'm just happy you're doing well, dude.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm happy you're doing well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Well, cool, dude. We'll stay in touch, and we'll chat when we chat, and just sending lots of love and wishing you the best, dude.
perfect. Are you still gonna make YouTube videos? Because you've been like dead for a few months, so
Yeah, absolutely. Eventually. So we're trying to get this sales system down and the product and whatnot. And then when we're ready to market, I'll probably go to LinkedIn first and text-based platforms. And then I'll move on to videos. But yeah, I mean, I eventually plan to have like a content empire, bro, and like all socials popping and all that stuff. But yeah, it's just not the right time for that quite yet. But I'll be
yeah,
back for
very
sure.
cool. Very cool. I'm just looking at your
Yeah.
channel now. Last one was 2 months ago. And then you got 541 subscribers. Not bad. 116 videos. Where am I at? Let me check mine. No, that's competition. I'm at 82 videos. I'm catching up. I'm making like 2 a day. I'll be getting out more videos than you soon.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, dude. For sure. And I hope you do, man. I like to
Yeah, I've
see
been
your
really
growth
enjoying
and
making
what you've been up to.
videos. like
Good. Yeah.
unedited,
I
just
mean,
like unfiltered, just like so enjoyable.
yeah, I've enjoyed that. I mean, that's what a lot of my videos are as well. I think that creates really authentic community.
Yeah,
The people who find you and subscribe really like what you're
yeah,
pushing out. If you're not like editing it in a way that's super stimulating and retaining people's attention.
definitely. Yeah, I got one guy that always comments on my videos, and I just love him so much. Like all his comments and stuff. Like it's amazing.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, the people who support you when you're like nobody or nothing and don't edit your videos and they just like you for you, those are the real ones, bro. Those are
Yeah, oh yeah.
like,
Shout
yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, fans, dude. Like people who legitimately support you are really, really important. Or at least to me, they're very, very
Yeah,
important.
definitely. Super important.
Yeah,
Super cool.
yeah.
Yeah, let's see
I'll
where
always
that
support
comes.
you, man.
I'll support you too, man.
Appreciate it, dude. Well, cool, dude. Yeah, I'll let you go. I need to go as well. It's getting late over here. And
What's the time?
we'll stay in touch, dude. It's almost 10 p.m.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. It's not too late.
Yeah.
I guess maybe if you sleep
Mm-mm.
early.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been it has been a bit earlier as of recent. So
That's pretty good. Good for
yeah,
you.
dude.
Wellness
Thanks,
coach.
man.
Sleep
Yeah.
before
Health,
10
wealth,
p.m.
and happiness, man.
Yeah.
Huh?
Sleep before 10 p.m., right? As a wellness coach.
Oh yeah, you're actually disqualified from being a wellness coach if you don't go to bed before 10 p.m. I don't know
Yeah,
if you knew that.
definitely. The pros go to bed before
Yeah.
9:30.
Yeah.
I need
Yeah.
one meal
Yeah.
a
I'm
day.
still trying to catch up to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So man, catch you
Well, cool,
later.
bro.
Great chatting.
Wonderful to see you.
Good seeing you too.
Peace, dude.
Bye.